And with that, I'm going to get emotional because I do need to get home and go see my family. I've been sitting here writing notes about this. I didn't want to do this podcast today, but I've realized throughout my life with everything that I've gone through in adversity, sometimes this is such a great safe space, from my having surgery the week of, having NFL games, cervical cancer surgery, to dealing with trials, to my infertility issues. Poor Ryan, he's in, and Charissa doesn't even know this yet. We got some real shitty news today that our surrogate had miscarried. So I have dealt with this before, but things were going really, really well. And her little heartbeat and her numbers were really good. So much so I even told you guys a couple weeks ago because we thought we had such good news. But yeah, Ryan, you did such a bang up job with this podcast today. I've been trying really hard to pay attention. I've just been tearing up the whole time and trying to stay focused. But I'm also really, really good at suppressing my feelings, and work really helps me with that. So I think one of the things I'm so sad about is I'm going to have to do a better job with dealing with my feelings with this, because the last time we had such loss, I didn't, and I suffered with it. Been sitting here thinking about Taylor Swift's song, I Can Do It With a Broken Heart. I'm really good at doing this shit with a broken heart, but you had said to me, you don't have to do this today, you don't have to, but I think I kind of made a promise to myself that when I was really open with how shitty infertility has been, and our journeys with two surrogates, because we did lose, we had loss with our first surrogate. And then luckily with our second one, we had Mac, that I was just going to be honest with people, because you talked about trying to have a family, and I don't know what's going on with you guys. But it's really, really hard. I just said that to one of my girlfriends down in my office when I told her. She's like, God, it's so freaking hard to have a baby. So I decided I would be honest about this. People, you have no idea what they're dealing with, and people deal more with loss than they do with the reward, or with, I don't even know. I can't even think right. But this whole thing is so shitty, and I don't envy people that are going through it, but I envy all the moms and the families that have to deal with this and, put on a happy face. So I know my husband's having a difficult time, and I'm going to go home and be with him, and then we're going to throw our little 2-year-old in a pool, and I feel like squeezes are going to feel a little different from him today. But
sure.
Yeah, like I said, when I was first dealing with all these infertility issues and loss, that I just wanted to let other people know that we're dealing with them, that I get it and I understand. And I'm going to do that again. This really, really sucks, but so many people are dealing with it. So if you feel alone and you feel like a failure, I do too, but you're not the only one. So it really, really sucks. So thank you for being such a good host today. You were great getting my mind off of this.
Oh, well, honestly, you're far too kind for something that I'm just doing my best here to try and help lift you up and listen at what you're able to do and push through. That the situation that unfortunately you're having to face, and obviously so sorry for that loss in these difficult times, that look, we talk a lot on this show specifically about people that you come across in the industry that are greater than what your expectations are. And it wouldn't be more fitting than on this episode to talk about what it is that you do on this show and in your job and in your role, and exceeding all expectations of how successful you are, what an awesome person you are. And you laid it out. You wanted to talk real quick before we were supposed to schedule to do this. You said, hey, I got some terrible news. And I just said, look, we don't have to do this. Let's move on from it. But I'm glad that this provides you some sort of comfort and openness to share these types of things on this platform. And people talk about being a pro's pro, and that's exactly what you are. And the vulnerability to open up and share this type of thing and connect with people, because there's so many people that have to deal with this on a day-to-day basis, and you provide them to feel like they are seen and heard and they're not alone. And that's incredible. So
yeah,
I know.
I just feel like people always see like the success, and we have our baby now. And I've had a lot of people DM me about, I'm struggling and I don't know what to do. And I get you and I see you. And listen, just because people, do different jobs and, are in and out of the spotlight or whatever. I mean, in the end, we're all human and loss is loss. And I get it. And like I said, Ryan, I don't know what you guys are dealing with, but these fertility clinics are packed and people are trying so hard to have babies. And a lot of time you hear more of the success than you do failure. And that's why it was
Totally.
so important to me when we had gone through so much of it and had so much loss. I just wanted to be open with people and be like, this sucks.
Yeah.
And today this really does suck. So it makes you really realize when I have my little boy and today he was throwing a fit royale with us, it's like, you know what? It doesn't matter. So,
Right.
we'll be good. I was saying to Jarrett today, I just don't, this is like the hardest part. Well, of course it's the hardest part, but it's like, I just didn't want to be back here, in the loss
Sure.
column. So that's the hard part, but I love you
Well,
for dealing with it with me. You
of
were so
course.
great at this.
Well, thanks. I'm just here doing what I can, not just to try and co-host a podcast, but to try and lift you up, know that you're loved and
Yeah.
supported the entire way. And this may feel awful in the short term, but you're definitely not a loser or in the loss column. It's
Oh,
just
no, I know. Yeah. No, I
one
appreciate that.
little unfortunate, awful situation. But as you said,
Yeah.
putting your focus on Mac is where it is, and you'll be able to move past this. And there are so many people that are so grateful
Yeah.
for you shining a light on this and making them feel like they're more normal. And this is something that happens with a lot of people, and it's not something that makes you feel like less than, and it's just the challenges that many people have to face. So it's really
Yeah.
incredible each and every
Yeah.
time that you're willing to be open about it.
Sometimes it's easier to do the work stuff than the real life stuff,
Sure.
You can
And
like wear a mask and just be talking about, the man flu.
that's
And then you
right.
have to go home and deal with it. So, yeah.
Yeah.
But I love you guys.
Absolutely.
Thank you
Well,
for that.
we love you, and this has been incredible. So I played but a small role to step in
No,
here
you were
today and
amazing. It got my
try
mind
and
off
lift
of
you
it
up.
for a few minutes.
So no,
Yeah.
I'm grateful, and you're awesome, and you're incredible, and nothing but love for you and Jarrett and Mac right now.
Love you guys.